Discussed.
Hello and welcome to the Fools Rush In SDFC podcast. We are here to review the weekend draw with Harrogate and look forward to two games this week, along with the usual carnage, chaos, and Kieran, the three C's of the podcast. I am joined by a number of regulars,
Christian?
as you can see. We will start with good evening, Mr. Wood. How are you, pal?
Evening. I think I missed the last one, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, that's why the views were down. Evening.
We love nothing more on this show than unrivaled arrogance. So thank you for joining us again. Hello, Ned. How are you, pal?
Yeah, good. Thanks, bud.
Good. And hello, Rich. Nice to have you back with us as well.
Evening. Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to take part of the blame for the views being down the last one.
Well, you know, we often do refer to you as the eye candy, despite Kieran's objections to that particular claim. And speaking of which, sporting one less knee and one new hairstyle. How are you, Kieran?
Yeah, not
He's
too
muted
bad.
himself and forgot. Yeah, he's the one that pulls everyone up for being muted, does himself a stupid little introduction, and then mutes himself.
Fuck off. And also, I think Christian's gonna cry about you because he said the three C's of the podcast, and even though he's not here.
Well,
Christian Cheltenham.
Well, Cheltenham is the fourth C, but we don't like to. It's like the fourth wall. We don't like to talk about it. Let's dive straight in with a review of the game. A game I think all of you potentially were at, and then again, maybe not Kieran. But Rich, last time we did this, and I didn't start with you. Ned went mental. So let's dive straight in with you, if I can, please. A draw with Harrogate. Fair on reflection?
Ned's superstition there. Yeah, I think in the end, probably we were unlucky not to probably win the game, to be fair. I did think it was a pretty even game. I thought we had some sloppy moments, especially in the first half. Second half, like we tend to do. Like I said before, I'm not sure what Ghana's halftime team talks are, but they are bloody amazing. Nonetheless, we always come out in the second half, always switched on. So that is one positive. One really good positive to not even just take out that game, but over the course of the season so far is a fantastic positive amongst the away results as well. But I do think we need to be more trying to think of the words, but we just need to be more confident at home. I think we need to start grinding out those results. It's brilliant against Hartlepool last week. You know, I thought that was a great win. I think it was a bit of weight lifted off our shoulders, but I felt as if that to win against Harrogate, I think that would have cemented us being back at home, starting to get some wins under our belt, because I feel that's what's important at the moment. I feel as if that's what's going to defy us going into the Christmas period, where there is a lot of games, and we need to start grinding results out, not just away from home, but at home too, and being more comfortable, because I think we can be as well, and I think we need to be as well. So it was a bit disappointing. I thought we gifted them a goal, which was really, really annoying. But at the end of the day, though, draw, yeah, I'd say probably fair result. I think we were, like I say, unlucky to not get a win out of that.
And Ned, there was a lot of claims afterwards about at least one other penalty that was turned down. Do you agree a draw was a fair result?
It's difficult, really, because I don't believe we deserved a draw in that game. I thought Simon Weaver set his team up in the first half to perfection. I thought they was. It's not that they played brilliantly. It's just the man-to-man marking and the high press. It just destroyed us. Absolutely destroyed us. We had literally no possession in midfield. No one had any time to pick a pass. So everyone was under pressure to make quick passes, which, most of the time is all right for us, but we did make a lot of mistakes. We took a long time to get used to the conditions. And I have to say, usually when it's windy, it's usually heading towards a Stratton bank, isn't it? And this one was like a southwest wind, wasn't it? It was crazy. I've never seen it like that before. Has anyone else? I don't remember the wind.
I'll be honest, I never really I know when it's windy, but I never really recollect which way the wind is going.
Well, usually you can tell because when you're taking a goal kick from the Stratton bank side, it usually just goes straight up in the air and sort of comes back down towards you again. All those goals like Grazioli scored for Stevenage, all the wind has been going towards Stratton Bank. But this time it was the other, it wasn't quite towards the goal, but it was like southwest style. I've never seen that before, but yeah, it took a while to get used to that. But I have to say, Simon Weaver, I take off my hat to you, sir, because that was a masterstroke. And unfortunately, whenever someone does something great against us, and all the other teams start to copy, don't they? So we need to, go back to the training and just, see what we can do to get around that, because that was, we got absolutely schooled in that first half. But the thing is, when you do that sort of man-to-man marking and the high press, you can't do that for 90 minutes. I don't care who you are. You can't do that for 90 minutes. And that sort of turned out to be the case, because as soon as it comes to the last half hour or so, well, maybe 40 minutes, because we did start to play better in the second half, but they just turned into like the ultra shithouse team, didn't they? Oh my gosh. That was the amount of, I've never seen such a dirty team at the county ground. It was disgusting. It was literally disgusting. What's his name? The left back, former West Ham YTS. What was his name? Lewis Page. He should have been sent off twice. Poor old Kane. He took an absolute battering. But I picked out Josh Falkenham. What a thunder cunt he is! Jesus Christ. Absolute thunder cunt. He was like a little angry dwarf. He reminded me of Peter Dinklage in the film Elf, So it's right for this time of year.
He's an angry elf.
Yeah, oh my God. But the one thing I did appreciate about him is the fact that he was like the organizer in the middle of the pitch. So if someone wasn't doing something, he was like getting them into position and stuff. But when it comes to our players and the referee, he was an absolute thunder cunt. That's the only way I could possibly describe him. He's just one of those players that if he plays for you, you love him. But if he plays against you, it's just the worst person on the planet. But yeah, also a point as well that I wanted to make is it was in the second half, wasn't it? We kicked the ball out of play because we had a player down injured, and then they didn't return the ball, did they? They carried on playing. It's just like, you fucking bastards. So I'd probably hate them more than Forest Green. Yeah, my hate was mainly towards Vince, but yeah, Harrogate.
Someone else has an issue with Vince at the moment.
Wonder who that could be. In fact, isn't that a Forest Green hoodie you're wearing there, Kieran?
Yeah, I'm just trying to just go Forest for him.
You sure Vince had a haircut like that as well once upon a time, Kieran?
Woody, I'll ask you your opinion on the game in a sec, but Ned made a point of discussing, obviously, the parallels between the first half and the second half. And I know you were left quite frustrated at half time, and it caused a bit of discussion in our WhatsApp group about the town fans' reaction to being a goal down at half time.
Yeah. That sparked up a right debate, didn't it? I don't get it. I didn't get the being 1-0 down and booing your team, and it wasn't just that was pissing, because basically it was almost like the town end was split into two. Half the town end were like, this isn't good enough. We know it's not good enough. We're losing. We could get this back. The other town end was saying, this is fucking shit. Why are we playing like this? blah, blah. I'm not being funny. The one thing that really irritated me about it was they were booing the tactics. People come out about an hour afterwards and said we were booing the tactics. We weren't playing any different than what we normally do. Harrogate were defending against it better than any other team has done this season. Any other team has done this season. In terms of how, as Ned said, as Ned said on his bit, that was probably the best defensive performance I've seen against us that first half, because they kept a high press. There was one moment there was 4 players surrounding Kessler Hayden before they started kicking the shit out of him. That bit of it I wasn't too impressed with. But yeah, I just don't get it. I find it embarrassing, and I know people will say they pay their money, they have the right to boo. Of course, they have the right to boo, but I just didn't see the need for it. Like I'm not even saying it's because I think that we should be positive and all this kind of shit. It's not because of that. I just think it's embarrassing. You're losing 1-0 at half time. There's 45 more minutes left of the game. I'm not being funny. I know we're playing Harrogate. And I disagree with those comments as well, that saying Harrogate a tin pot, Harrogate a this. Every club has to start somewhere. Every club has to start somewhere. Swindon were once a team that weren't very good, and had to make their way up.
There's been many times.
Beloved Cheltenham were non-league for a while. It's every team has to start somewhere. Those kind of comments do wind me up a little bit. But I just thought at the end of the day, Harrogate's performance are the reason why I said the other week why I think they'll be in the playoffs, because I think they're just consistent. They will do that every game. They will play like that every single game, and it will frustrate the hell out of so many teams. Yes, the dirty side of it I didn't like. I agree with Ned. Their left winger should have been sent off, maybe even 3 times, but and should have probably been in the book. But yeah, it's I just don't. I thought it was embarrassing, to be totally honest. Just booing players at half time when we're only 1-0 down. If we're losing 4-0, and if we were playing crap and they were really crap, then maybe a little bit of license, maybe. But we were just outsmarted. As I've forgotten what the manager's name. Ned mentioned it a couple of times. Weaver, isn't it?
Simon Weaver, yeah.
They came with a game plan, and it was executed perfectly in the first half.
I was just going to say on that, I think a lot of our fans are quite fickle. They probably think, Harrogate, they've come up from the conference like 2 seasons ago. We're taking them, we're losing to them. We're taking this game too easy. We shouldn't be. So I don't think a lot of fans really do their homework. Like Harrogate are a good team. They're up there with us. In fact, they were top of the table at the start of the season. I know it's obviously quite
for a few games as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they're nothing that we should be taking lightly. We shouldn't be. In fact, actually, no, we shouldn't be taking any team in this league lightly, because I feel as if that the teams that we do play against that are lower than us in the league, we seem to lose to. Obviously, it hasn't. Maybe at home this season, but still, The
thing is, I genuinely do agree with what you've both said there. But then not that it's an excuse for that sort of mindset, because I don't think there is an excuse. And I think, Rich, you're right. There's no game. Essentially, we're all in the same division for a reason. So you have to apply yourself properly. But when Harrogate themselves are then putting out tweets, like yesterday's crowd of 8,199 was the biggest we've ever competed in front of. You can understand why some people will take that when they've got delusions of, say, Swindon being a massive club in this division. You can see why fans who perhaps.
But I think what a lot of fans. Yeah, I think what a lot of fans don't realise, though, if I was the opposition manager there, if I was Weaver at half time, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have said that would be my team talk. The fact that you've got fans booing their own players, despite being in the top 3 or 4 of the league, you've got fans booing at half time. That's your team talk done. All you're doing is doing the team talk for the manager. And to be honest, if the first 60 minutes are anything to go by, Harrogate deserves something from that game. It was only, as Ned said, when they started to tire, that press started to tire, that that we really came back into it after, probably even later than that, after Payne's equaliser probably. And I think that's just their team talk. That's why I don't see the point in it. It's literally doesn't offer anything in terms of anything to the players, apart from that they're going to be frustrated. Yeah, you can be frustrated. People are voicing their frustration all the way through the game. Players just don't need to. It's just not necessary. Yeah. If somebody can come at me with a benefit of booing your players off at half time, I'll hold my hands up and say it works. But I just don't think it does.
And also, I think as well, just going back to the point about the Harrogate biggest crowd that they've played against in front of since Leyton Orient, for example, it's like that's most of the teams in our league. Because we've got one of the biggest capacities in our league. Our capacity shouldn't be in League Two. We should be higher than where we are. And managers that have come and gone in Swindon Town have said that as well. So Richie Wellens obviously been the latest one, and it's just like of course. Harrogate have just stated out the bloody obvious.
It's no different comparatively speaking than if Swindon were to play a Man City United, in the FA Cup
exactly.
Because as Woody alluded to, every team has to come from somewhere. Going back to the game then, Woody, you sort of mentioned it in passing there anyway, but from the sort of the hour mark, Swindon started to implement their own game a bit more. So yeah, we've had two different trains of thought. Rich thought we were unlucky not to win in the end. Ned thought we were almost fortunate to get something from the game the way the game started. What side of the fence are you on?
I'm probably the same as both of them, really. I think, like I said, as I said earlier, with Harrogate's first 60 minutes, they deserved the win. But our last half hour, maybe last 20 half hour, I think was one of our best performances at home this season, just in that last 20. But you got to look at it. Do you look at it and go, good teams can play badly and still win? If you try to apply that theory, you could say that we deserve the win. But I just think it would have been a real injustice. Not that I give a shit, but it would have been a real injustice to Harrogate if they had lost that game. Apart from all the crap that they got up to, and it's mainly in the last half hour. When you say Ned, Rich, probably the major stuff that discussed inside of football. They
were just getting frustrated. Arts. They were getting really frustrated.
The dark art. Yeah, I think I think that the reason we still didn't win the game wasn't necessarily because we played bad. It was because of our own flaws. It's we have to take about 30 shots before we score a goal, and it's. I don't know. I now see why Kesler Hayden is only a winger on loan out, because if that guy could score, he would be nowhere near our side. He'd be knocking on Villa's door. It's the amount of opportunities he gets into and doesn't score. And I think that was the problem and it was the problem for me in the first half on the Hartlepool game. Like the Hartlepool game, it was either a poor cross or a poor finish. It was one or the other, so it was, So I think a draw is probably a fair, I never like really saying fair result. I tend to say fair reflection of the game, because in football, there's no such thing as a fair result. It's either a result or not. But it's a fair reflection of the game. I think, injustice to Harrogate if they had lost, but being the side we are, we should have really pipped it at the end.
Well,
I think as well, a good point is that the weather was a massive factor. Let's not forget that. So first half, they had the advantage. Second half, we had the advantage. They played better in the first half. We played better in the second half. So
I think the weather is, I was going to mention that earlier when you mentioned about it, Ned, because of this type of wind that was coming in, here we go, doing the meteorology again, because of the type of wind, it wasn't actually affecting aerial kicks. It was almost coming in like a wind tunnel and then just circulating around. And that's why I don't think it really was an advantage to anybody. I think that because if you look at Jojo's kicks, Jojo had no problem kicking against the wind at all. It was just, but it was a really weird, because you look at one of the corner flags was just constantly pointing downwards. It was a strange weather, but do Harrogate get that often? Probably up there. I don't know. Do they get it quite a lot is it North Yorkshire, Harrogate?
I think the weather would have been worse in Harrogate at the weekend than it would have been in Swindon.
Yeah. So they're kind of used to playing in crap weather anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, who obviously regular panelist, can't be with us tonight, he did send in his.
Yeah,
He did send in his little match review so that his views could be on there. He put the first half was dire, second half was really good. A fair point in the end against a promotion rival. I don't buy in that Harrogate are, I mean, sometimes his spelling isn't the best, so I'm trying to work out what exactly he's tried to say here. I think he's gone with tin pot, but done it terribly. So I'm going to go with, I don't buy in Harrogate a tin pot, and we have a divine right to smash them. They're the third best away record in the league, and like us, on the cusp of autos. On paper, one of the hardest games of the season. Ref was shite, though, lost control of the game, let Kessler get kicked off the, I think he means park. Not to mention getting no less than 4 pen decisions wrong.
Ref was dreadful. I completely agree. The referee was really, really bad.
Yeah, he was bad, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. He had no consistency in his decisions. He was awful, absolutely dreadful. Compared again to the Hartlepool game, where I thought that ref was really good. I think Ned mentioned it on the pod. He was a very good referee, a very, very good referee. And then we get that twat, because we've had him before, and I'm sure he was a twat then as well. He's just what a ginger.
Ginger.
Sorry to any ginger players I've coached, but this person is a ginger knobhead.
We always have to isolate a group of people every week for no reason. Kieran, when you take into account everything you've heard and the thoughts of Ben as well, and you consider Harrogate in terms of where they are in the league, the form they're in and stuff, is it a case of we've come from behind, we've got a point, yes, there might be some frustration that we haven't beat them, but ultimately we didn't lose, we move on?
Yeah, I think from everything I've heard from everyone at the game, we were lucky to have really come. I don't think we were lucky to have come out of a point. I think because we should have had 3 or 4 decisions that went wrong. The penalty decision that we got, even when you look at the County Ground own clip, is even worse because he barely touched him. But the ones that are more, there's one in the first half that was pretty much a stonewaller. There's obviously one late on that's quite a stonewaller, and one not long before the actual penalty we got that was more of a penalty than the other one. So I think he was just sort of evening out his decisions by that point. I'd love to see his marking from it because he must be in minus fucking figures for it. But I think the only frustration that really comes out of it, I think it's a good point earned. We haven't lost. If you can't win a game, don't lose it. I think the only frustration is that obviously we have got the 3rd worst home record in the league now. I think it's only Scunthorpe and Oldham that have a worse home record than us. And I think it is something that whatever the hoodoo is at home, we need to sort of sort out because it could cost us in the long run. It's good that we sort of do it in reverse, win your away ones, draw your home ones, and that would work. But I think to keep people coming back, we've got to start picking up more points at home.
That's the point Woody's made a few times in recent weeks.
Yeah, and I think I 100% agree with it. I think as well, it is the attendances are good at the minute, but if you lose your home games or start drawing most, and people get bored of it, and they say Swindon fans, football fans in general, are a bit fickle. Especially newer fans, they want to see entertaining football, but if it's just ended up in a stalemate every time, then they might not come back. But you look at the last week, we've won a game and drawn one at home, got 4 points from it. And I think realistically, if you said that, considering our home form sort of a week ago, you'd sort of take it. I think everyone probably more expected us to lose against Hartlepool, draw against Hartlepool, and win against Harrogate. But I think considering where they are in the league, I know we take this out of in Tim Pot and only bringing like 41 fans and stuff, but they're up there this season. And from the clips I've seen, the highlights and stuff, they weren't a bad side. And as I say, I think their fitness is going to be slightly worse than ours because we invest in that side more, and that's something we've got better with this season. So yeah, I think we just need to take on the look at the negatives, because you need to learn from our mistakes, learn how to play against those sorts of teams. Because as I say, teams came and did what Carlisle did to us, just shithouse us all the time. Harrogate didn't necessarily come out to do that. They ended up having to do it because they were tired, and it was the only way they were getting something out of it.
Just one final word then on Harrogate, if we can, and I'll ask you all, and it's simply a one-word answer because it's interesting that again it's a discussion that Ben has instigated in the WhatsApp group off air. Do you consider, and I think Woody, I'll come to you first because you've already kind of alluded to it, are Harrogate promotion rivals this season? If we're viewing ourselves as promotion contenders now, are they promotion rivals?
In terms of playoffs, yes. I don't think they're top three.
Kieran?
Agree with Woody. In terms of sort of getting into the playoffs or potential playoff rivals, yeah, but I think our real sort of promotion rivals are Forest Green, Exeter, and who else is up there? Port Vale, and I think potentially later on in the season. But I think Harrogate will be up in and around the playoffs, but they're not automatic promotion contenders for me.
Rich?
Yeah, from what I saw on Saturday, I don't see why not. They can't be playoffs, but I think with regards to this league, as in with League One and Championship, both leagues, all the leagues are very, very tight, and one loss can drop you from 8th to 14th. So, like I say, I don't see why not. If they can keep playing consistent and getting results, then yeah, of course they can be. But yeah, I'd say why not.
Ned?
Well, it was only last week or the week before when I said that I think they'll fall away. But after watching them, as long as they, and this is the key point, as long as they remain injury-free, or don't have many injuries, I don't see why not. I mean, they've got, they've got a fantastic manager. They've got several good goal scorers. There's, all the mix for having a successful season. But I don't know. I mean, any form of injuries, their keeper gets injured or their main striker gets injured, then I think they're probably struggling. But if they can remain injury-free, I don't see why they can't finish in the top three, because their manager, he's played an absolute blinder, and if he can do that every game, then you can't go wrong.
No. Well, it's fair, and you've all answered the question. Thank you. Someone who did have something to celebrate in the draw was Dion Conroy, who's now got up to his number of 100 appearances. So again, I'll ask you all, what does that 100 games for Swindon represent? Woody, I'll ask you first. If I ask you Dion Conroy at Swindon, what comes to mind?
Is it only 100? It feels like he's been here 10 years.
He's been injured for about 8 of them.
Yeah. It's I mean, most everybody knows I'm quite a fan of Conroy. I do like him. He's a bit of a diva at times, from my understanding. But yeah, I think it means a lot for anybody to get to 100 appearances for any club nowadays. I think there's no, as I think Christian alluded to it, there's no real loyalty in football anymore. And I'm not saying he's been loyal, although he was one of the 6, wasn't he, that trained unpaid and all that kind of stuff. And I just think he's probably going to be a little bit Nathan Thompson-esque in terms of, he's never going to be our best defender. He's never going to be, I think he's going to be around the club for a long time. I think he will be. I just want him to have, just have 10 games in a row. I really want him to have 10 games in a row, because when he gets into form, he's unstoppable. And when he gets into form, he's probably one of the best defenders in this league. But he seems to get a good game going, and then he gets injured, bless him. But fair play to him. I'm always happy when we've got players that reach 100, and it must mean something to him anyway, because that would be his 100 for professional appearances as well, I guess, because he came to us non-professional. So, fair play to him. I wish him the best.
Ned?
Sorry, I'm on mute. It's nice that he's playing at a time when, something's happening, because wasn't it a couple of seasons back when we won the league, he was injured pretty much that whole season, wasn't he? So, I mean, he's been playing in some real shit teams, so it's nice for him to actually play in a winning team for a change. But yeah, I mean, he looks fantastic. He's come back. All credit to him for being one of the 6. He could have easily walked off and launched his career somewhere, but fair play to him. He's this is probably the longest stretch now he's had in the township actually playing games. So yeah, fair play to him. It's all the interviews that I've heard from him, he sounds like a really nice guy. So it's just nice that for him to have this season, when he had a horrible experience of the season last year, working under a complete wanker, which will lead us on to a certain podcast in a moment, I'm sure. But yeah, fair play to him. Nice guy. Let's go.
Kieran?
Yeah, I think he probably feels lucky at one point, because he's had the injuries that he's had. He's been very unlucky with it. They were potentially career-ending even at a young age. So I think he's only similar age to me. I think he's like 25, 26. So he's not old. And I think the biggest accolade he can have, that he's remained a club captain for as long as he has, because I know there was a lot of question marks when he was at 23 when he got made club captain, which is young for any club, but it sort of shows no manager that's come in yet has taken that off of him. And there's some good contenders in this squad for your sort of club captain. Jack Payne's and stuff, though he's vice captain. But I think, yeah, I'm just glad that he's sort of made it to there, and he looks to be doing well this season. I think this is probably the best season so far that he's had for us, which just shows you maturity and stuff that you improving. And I think I'm glad he's going to get some of the best coaches, probably one of the best coachings he's had. I know he's had sort of a mixed time. He's had a lot of different managers. And I think Wellings is probably the next best one apart from him, but he seems to be a lot more solid this year, growing up a little bit in and off the pitch. And I think he can't take anything away from me. He's one of the 6 that stayed and played for free, or was training for free. And also, compared, he was frozen out the squad at one point last year. He could have walked off a lot sooner, a lot easier, and I don't think he'd have been too short of offers. He's definitely got League 1, League 2 clubs, so fair play to him. You never know, here's 100 more.
And Rich?
What these guys said. I mean, let's just face it. I mean, he's dealt with some real shit at Swindon, whether or not that's injuries or being, well, in the words of Ned, being under a complete and utter wanker. But yeah, no, pleased for him. He deserves it. He's when he has been in the team, he's always had that leading role. So I'm glad he's getting a good run of games, and hopefully he can be part of a team this year when playing, and hopefully getting or looking in for promotion.
You've both made reference, so just a quick side note. Has anyone on here at this point watched or listened to the Sheridan?
I don't think it's out yet, mate. I think it's
no,
out.
it is if you're on their Patreon, but it comes out tonight. It comes out tonight, and I'll be there as soon as it's out, fucking watching that. But I like how they're clever. So I assume they're doing it in 2 parts. I reckon the second part's going to be more what we want. I think they go for his career, but I'm looking forward to that.
I don't know if I even want to listen to it, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I didn't even listen to his post-match
interviews.
Because he was so fucking boring.
I knew it was coming.
So I don't really want to listen to it, but I do kind of want to hear the
excuses.
Yeah, the excuses, the shit that's going to come out of his mouth. I really, really, really hope he references Taylor Curran.
Ned, will you be watching or listening?
I will be eventually. I won't be doing it to like Kieran, but it is certainly worth a watch. Just a listen, should I say, to see exactly what he's got to say. Is it definite that he's gonna reference us, or is he just gonna?
It's just everyone's assuming from that he's going to be on it. But to be fair, he got proud to it. I don't think he's he's got a lot going on. He's not a very well man. I think people should be mindful when they do talk about it and just keep it to football and not keep it personally. I think we don't know what is. Obviously, you can see from the screenshot of the snippet of him on there, he doesn't look well. And I think people just need to be mindful of those sorts of things when they're commenting on it. Just keep it strictly about football.
Well, going back to things that do matter and not living in the past. Ned, I'll come to you first. Since we last spoke, the new kit was revealed. Thoughts?
Oh, yes. Oh, I love a blackout kit. I know a lot of people don't, but yeah, I do like a blackout kit. And as I said on the on WhatsApp, it could be shit brown, and I'd still go out
Could be
and
a
buy
dildo
it.
when you buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care. No, I'm an absolute fool for buying swindling kits. But yeah, I do like it. I noticed that there's a slightly different design on the arms as well, with the black sort of triangle thing going on. No, I'm quite excited. I've got I bought one for myself, one for my son, and one for my nephew as well. So I'm buzzing. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't breathe. The thing that
I can't breathe.
I can't wait. The thing that I would like to question is that if you're from, is it First City? That's on the back. Is it First City?
Red squirrel on the back of this one.
No, yeah, red squirrel on the back of this one. But the other kits, is it First City? Because surely, if you're them, you've paid for the sponsorship on the top of the back of the shirt.
Only paid. They do separate packages. They've probably only paid for the home and away one, because quite often a third kit would either have a different front main sponsor or a different back sponsor. So I would think the setup is that you initially sponsor the home and away one, then you may offer it to them for extra when you bring out a third kit. It's not obviously guaranteed that you're going to do that.
But do you know what I mean? Like, if you're the only team that we would need to wear a third kit for is, from what I was looking at, is Lens in France. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to play in this season. So I just don't understand. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand.
I can answer that. So apparently we've been offered the basically leftovers of Puma, basically. So it was basically the end of their stock, and they were trying to get it, and they just made it into a blackout kit, apparently.
So they sports directed our ass. Is that right?
Pretty
Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's because we wanted more shirts, didn't we? We couldn't, because we had a limited design, and because of what's gone on, we couldn't have it. So it's another revenue stream that we've ran out of shirts for a home and away kit this year. We need to sell some more. Go to Puma, see what they can do, and they've that's what they came up with. Just couldn't be bothered to put a white outline around it, but
like I say, it's just a basic template, though, isn't it? It's just
there's nothing special.
what we've
about
had
it. I don't get everyone wanking over it because it's fucking got no badge. It's like blacked out, like it's been washed away. It's not it's a boring shirt, even for a blackout kit. It's a basic Puma template, and Ollie Howard would be out there fucking ironing them on at some point. It's even easier for him probably. He just needs to fucking draw some black bits on it and just say, "Oh, this is the Puma blackout kit."
The thing is, it's what we've had with the home kit over the last couple of years until this season, and then we had something different. I don't.
What's funny is the kit's blacked out, but on the arms, one of the Puma things is in white. So it's not a complete blackout kit.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was thinking, what's
the fucking, just
this is what I mean. Like, it's obviously that they've just used the end of their stock, really. And
so clearly, a young man who doesn't mind rocking a black outfit, Rich, you're not really a fan, no?
No.
The man from Milk Tray.
Indeed. And Kieran's evidently not a fan either. How about you, Woody?
I kind of like it. I do like a blackout kit. I don't like the badge on it though. There's something that doesn't look. I don't know if it's the photos. It's one of those that I won't buy until I actually see it in person. I think because the photos are just. I don't know. It looks like It looks like they've done the template of the badge, but they're not bothered filling it in. I don't know. The badge looks weird. The rest of it looks nice. I like a black kit. I think Adidas do blackout kits better than Puma do, but I probably will get it because I do, with the exception of that absolutely dreadful green and white one we had. I tend to buy the third kits when I can. That wasn't a third kit, was it? That was an away kit.
That was an away kit.
It should have been a third kit. It was that bad.
The flag one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not having that, Woody.
Yeah, I said it because you've got it, Rich. But I always used to try and buy the third kits because I don't know, it's always something different from our traditional colours of home and away kits, isn't it? So, but I'll have to see that badge because I don't know, there's something about the badge that doesn't look right to me. But the kit itself is nice. I haven't seen any. Is it the same template as the Borussia Dortmund one? In terms of that little V on the back on the side, I think it might be.
It's the exact one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but and plus black makes me look smaller. So it'd be good for running around in 7-a-side because the red one doesn't do me any favors at the moment.
There isn't enough black in the world to do me any favors at the moment.
Fifey.
I'm working on it, lads. I'm working on it. Don't you worry about me. I'll be in prime condition for the Christmas party next week, or this week, I should say now.
Oh yes,
Woody, let's move on to your special features now then. And did the weather have an impact on the women's games this weekend, or did we manage to get some?
My girls,
I think I saw the youth team got called off.
Yeah, that was I actually called that off. Because I'm a pussy. No, I called it off because it was just. I mean, I call it because we don't use our own pitch. We use another club's pitch as well. I thought, a drop of snow on that is like dropping a bucket of water on it. So I knew it was going to, and it would just been a horrible game of football. So me and the manager came to an agreement that we wouldn't play. And also the kids are all doing mock exams now. I don't want to give them pneumonia. But the ladies managed to play. I actually, considering it was quite cold and it did start snowing, it was actually quite nice footballing weather, I think, on Sunday. But yeah, the ladies played Poole Town in the league. They won 6-1, which is a massive result, really, because now we're starting to play the teams that are down our end of the table. So as it stands, anyway. So hopefully they'll start getting some points. I think that's 3 wins in a row now or something like that, minus the FA Cup loss. But so yeah, it was a good game to watch. My personal opinion on it is it'll be interesting. We had Ellie Olds, who the people that know women's football will know Ellie Olds, but she used to play for Swindon, was a very good goal scorer. Went off to sign for Fulham and dual signed for us. And she played this weekend, and I always get nervous about that. And I can't remember if I mentioned it to the manager, but I always get a little bit nervous about it because I think we're not going to have her next week. So it's sometimes she is a Swindon Fulham, but I'm not sure what Kieran's doing.
This is turning into MasterChef now.
I was going to say MasterChef, yeah.
He's going to see if he could bake a cake whilst I'm talking about the women's football.
The problem for the legions of fans we've got that listen to the audio only is not only are they missing this quality content, but they're not seeing that he's also got one of the virtual backgrounds on, which means we can't actually see what he's doing properly. It just looks very suspicious.
But yeah, I'm not actually. Do you know what the really bad thing is? I don't actually know who they got this weekend.
Buckland.
Thank you, Rich.
This is why we hire Rich, the associate.
I'm too busy trying to concentrate on my own games. I'm trying to think how I'm going to deal with Saturday's game hungover. It'd be Buckland and. The development we're playing as well. But and then we can move on from that. We don't need to worry about the Fantasy Premier League, I don't think.
No, which means I should ask Kieran if he wants to discuss Fantasy Premier League this week.
Well, I'm still fucking top. That's all that matters. Still got the same points gap because me and Rich got the same amount of points. 5 is heading more towards the bottom after one show's climbing up the league now. So we need to know.
Is that actually true? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, you're like second bottom.
That
now.
is true.
Ned's still bottom. One show has like 50 points.
You are as well.
Hang on. So
I think everybody's benches helped him out this week, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was like.
Right. I had Ramsdale on my bench and put Edison in instead.
So Ned remains bottom, scoring 45 this week. I've dropped to 7th, only scoring 35. One show scored 50 to move up to 6. Ben has stayed 5th, scoring 46. Warren stays 4th, scoring 55. Woody stays 3rd, scoring 53. And then Rich scored 55 in 2nd, and Kieran is top also with 55. Woody, I don't know I know you watched the last episode back, but I can't recall you actually commenting on Kieran pointing out that you said that you were closing the gap, and since you said that, it's got bigger.
Yeah, well, sometimes you've got to make things bigger to make them smaller. So
Is that what you said?
I was going to say, Woody, it's not about slow and steady wins the race, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's 33 points is nothing, isn't it? It's
That's
it
33?
It's 1 week if you do it right.
Yeah, it's just one poor week. That's all that's needed. Kieran, half his squad's going to be injured or something at one point. And
it's not like we don't know that Kieran's well known for making the odd bad decision here and there.
Yeah, so. He does that every now and then, doesn't he? Yeah, so.
So unsteady. Is that me and Fifey?
I'm slow. I'm definitely not steady
at the moment.
Yeah, I think as long as I stay in that top 3 for the next couple of weeks, Wazza can stay away for a bit.
Yeah, I'm the same.
5 points away from Rich. Yeah, I'll have him next week. I'll be back up to second next week.
Well, you say next week. It's not next week. It's this week.
It's this week, isn't it? Yeah, I've got 2 transfers to make this week as well. So
I did that
utilise them wisely.
Let's move on then and get back to matters on the pitch. And we've got 2 games this week to look forward to. I know Woody and Rich, you're both going. I believe you're both going tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going tomorrow, and I'm going to Walsall as well on Saturday.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start with Colchester then. We obviously we haven't invited Cy on for this one because otherwise the amount we play Colchester, I think Ned referenced earlier, we play them more than we play anybody else ever.
I think if he was to come back on, I think he would have probably wanted to be paid, because I think doing that voluntary last time, I think he's probably thinking, I'm not doing this for fucking free next time.
However, depending on the result, we might invite him on next week. Rich, I'll come to you first. What are you expecting from the game? And excellent. He's frozen. I hope someone's taken a pic, our usual traditional weekly picture of Rich freezing in an awkward position. Woody, while he regains his signal, why don't you tell us what you're expecting from the game? It's so off-putting.
I haven't listened to the match presser yet. Obviously I know we're going to be making changes. That's about time we pissed Colchester off, innit? I can't. Oh, this is great for the people that are listening in.
This is why you shouldn't.
Can you audio describe Rich's?
He's having a shit.
Rich's face.
Doing his having a shit face.
Yeah, orgasm face. No, I think we'll beat Colchester tomorrow. I mean, obviously the lads all know that I don't mind this trophy so much. I still think that this is probably one we might actually win. But it's I think we will beat Colchester tomorrow. I'm going 2-0. I think he might rest Simpson tomorrow. It'd be interesting to see who he puts in his place, but I generally think he will rest Simpson. And I'd like to see Dabre. If Dabre were playing, I'd like to see him get on a score sheet, because every time I've watched him, he looks like quite a little exciting player to watch. So I expect to see him play, and I'd hope he'd score as well. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 to us.
Well, given your optimism for the competition, I know Craig will be disappointed that he's not here to share that optimism. Ned, what are you thinking ahead of the game?
I just can't wait to see what Rich's face is going to be like in a sec. He's come back again. Here we go. So I'm sort of half and half. Now we got past the group stage. Now we can start to sort of take it seriously now, it just seems such a absolute waste of time to start off with that group stage, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, he's not frozen. Woo! Honestly, this game's gone completely over my head. It's at home, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. I fully expect us to win at home against Colchester. I can't see them putting all their decent older players out because they all need resting because it's a very aged team, isn't it, Colchester? I think we'll win comfortably. I think we'll win 2-0, 3-0. I'll go with 3-0.
That's a good point, actually, Ned, because I saw on Si's Twitter as well that there's been a lot of criticism of Nublet not playing at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I wonder if Nublet's going to play tomorrow. If they're thinking he's, which that means that it might not be 2-0. If Nublet plays tomorrow, I got a feeling he'll score.
Yeah, 3-1. Adjusted.
Welcome back, Rich. For our audio-only listeners who missed all the excitement of you freezing again, we're just.
Don't worry, I've got good picks as well. To be fair, so.
What are you expecting from the game tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully they will win. To be fair, I think in terms of cup competitions this season, I think obviously Ghana's taken it very seriously. I think most of the cup games that we've had this season, other than the FA Cup, obviously in this competition, the EFL Trophy, have been at home, and we have managed to get results. So I'm fully expecting us to put in a competitive performance tomorrow. I'm fully expecting us to win. I'm expecting us obviously not to be playing the youngsters this time. I think it'll be a partially different squad to the weekend, but I also feel as if that because I think the only player that's out is the only two players that are out are Gladwin and Baldry. So it might be time. It might be time for Jordan Lydon to get a chance into play instead of Reed. Give Reed a bit of a rest before Saturday, which is obviously the most important game. But I feel as if that obviously with the competitiveness in our squad, I feel as if that we will get something out of the game, and hopefully we can get a win in 90 minutes and not have to take it to spot kicks.
And finally, Kieran Ramsey, how about you?
Prick. Fuck off, you're fucking shit. I think it'll be a draw tomorrow. It always seems to be a draw at home against Colchester.
That's the impression I've ever heard in my life.
I think it'll be a draw against it's always a draw against Colchester at home for some reason. And I think one of the teams will win it on penalties. That's
brilliant. With insight like that, who needs Sky Sports or BBC?
And I'm going to stick my theme. I think Colchester will win it on penalties.
You really are the Grinch.
Well, no, because if I say it every time, when I start giving us winning, we fucking lost. So if I say that we're going to lose, we normally get a draw or win. Look at my rant last week. He's got a point out again.
It's a superstition thing, isn't it?
So Rich having to speak first for Ned, and
you having to predict that we lose.
Yes, and then I can be the idiot that says, "Oh, but one week I'm going to get it right," and it's going to be like, "Oh, I can stop the superstition."
We will also have, as has been alluded to, we have got the FA Cup game against Walsall as well. Typical that a few of us Swindon fans based around the Midlands are coming down to Swindon for the weekend when Swindon are heading up to the Midlands. Again, I'll ask you what your thoughts are. We'll go reverse order this time. Kieran, are we going to see as much drama as you've had with your hairstyle this week in the game?
God, swallow my steak really quickly then, because I thought you were going the other way around. I think it's going to be a very interesting game at Walsall. I think they're going to play quite similarly to how we do. And possibly similar to sort of a Harrogate team that's going to sort of try you on the high press with Matty Taylor as a manager. I've got a gut feeling that is going to be our first away loss of the season. And I think, in grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter that much we lose. I'd rather lose in the cup than lose in the league, but I'd love to get to an FA Cup third round because I love the FA Cup and I'd love to be involved in it one year. But I think it's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to possibly be our toughest game on the road so far this season. I'd love to see us win and get into the third round, but I'm going to go 3-1 Walsall and just keep the superstition up.
Rich, you said you were going. Are you looking forward to it?
Oh, I'm buzzing for the atmosphere, to be fair. I mean, I think we're bringing just under, well, we might even get to that 2,000 away supporters by Saturday. So who knows? Yeah, I think it's going to be probably one of the biggest away attendances from Swindon Town in an awful long time as well. So, you know, I mean, I think everybody's going to feel positive going up there. I think everybody's going to feel as if, obviously, our away record so far this season's been obviously fantastic. It would be a massive, massive shame if we were to lose out on this game. If we were to lose this game, I think it'd be disastrous, really. But you know, to be so close to the third round of the FA Cup as well. But to be fair, though, if we did lose and we did get somebody shit in the third round anyway, I wouldn't be too bothered anyway. But
well,
no,
you know how
I like Kieran. I love the FA Cup, and it'd be fantastic. Because do you know what? The third round brings back so many good memories for Swindon Town. Obviously, under the Di Canio era. And obviously for us to have beaten Wigan at home that
on
season.
my birthday.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah. So yeah, no, it was incredible. And then obviously we lost to Leicester, didn't we? In the
yeah, that wasn't fun round. For me either.
Oh, were you at that game? Were you?
I was, along with people from work.
Oh shit. Yeah, so no, like I say, I mean, brings back fond memories, and it would be fantastic to eat whether or not we get to the third round. Hopefully we do. If we get like a Premier League team at home, I wouldn't be too fussed about that. That'd be great. If we got a Premier League team away, I think that'd be just fantastic, whether or not we win or lose.
Well, you know how the footballing gods and fate work, Rich. If we lose, then they will get Liverpool away.
Yeah.
If we win, we will get Colchester.
Yeah. More than likely. More than likely. Yeah.
Conscious of losing Woody, who I think is starting to flag a little bit in the corner there. What are you expecting from the game, pal?
I think we'll win. I'm for one, I'm quite happy to see Matty Taylor doing quite well there now. But yeah, I think Walsall's just one of those places we always tend to get something out of, though, don't we? So
genuinely, Walsall is the coldest ground I've ever been to.
What's that? Sorry, Walsall.
I went to what?
Have you never been to Boundary Park?
I went to a Tuesday night game at Walsall, and fuck me, it was cold.
Yeah, and it always is quite cold there. I don't know if it's something to do with the fact it's near the open motorway, etc. But yeah, it is always quite cold there, and it always makes me laugh that there's weddings at Walsall. That's always the sign that's up when I drive past their ground. Is the weddings at Walsall. Yeah, I think we'll win. I think it kind of depends on what squad we play tomorrow. In terms of how well we play, whether we're going to be a bit tired or whatever. But yeah, I think I'll go for, again, similar to tomorrow, I'll go with a comfortable 2-0. I think it will be a hard away game, but I just think if we do take a good crowd up, are we sold out, or are we looking for extra allocation? Are we?
We've sold over 1,800, I believe, as far as I'm aware.
And we might get extra allocation, or is that still
that was our extra allocation?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think with that behind you on a away day, it's going to be massive. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0.
Last but certainly not least, Ned.
I mean, this season is a special season, and I foresee that Swindon will be in the third round draw, and we're going to get someone quite special in the third round. I mean, there's such a feel-good feeling. I don't see us losing.
Ever.
You know, like well, that's already completely plugged, isn't it? But yeah,
from now.
2,000, you know, well, near 2,000 fans, should we say. I think they'll cheer the boys home. I reckon, as Woody said, I agree. I think 2-0 victory. Sorry to jump on your score bandwagon there, Woody. But I think we'll win
if we get it wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll win. I think we'll go through, and I think we'll get a team that we can, show what we can do against in the next round. Playing against League Two teams, sometimes we can look a bit iffy because they just fucking shithouse us. But playing against a Championship or a Premier League team, it'd be really interesting to see how the tactics play out, and whether it works against them and what they do against us as well.
The only disclaimer I would put on that is the only Premier League team you wouldn't want to play for that benefit would be Man United, who are purely at the minute setting up to shithouse anybody they come up against.
Or Burnley, to be fair.
If you saw what they did against Chelsea the other day.
But why is he United? He's there to win cups. Have you seen the Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher? Fucking brilliant.
That was brilliant.
Gentlemen, before we finish, we received 2 questions to my very, very late tweet out asking for questions. So I will let you answer them. Ned's laughing because he's very well aware of what one of these questions is. So we'll do that one second. The first one, and you can make it a one-word answer if you like. If this season's team were an animal, what animal would they be, Woody?
I don't know what question that is. Frog.
Frog. Any particular reason, or are you just sticking with frog?
I'm just thinking of something that can jump quite far ahead, but then always falls backwards. So yeah, we'll go with frog.
Rich?
Probably say cat, because we always seem to, whether or not when we lose at home, we always seem to win away. So we always seem to land on our feet. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to go along the lines of 9 lives then.
That too, yeah. That's a fair point as well, yeah.
Or you were going to say arrogant twats.
Kieran?
A gazelle, because we're leaping forward.
Nice. Ned? He's not happy.
Nice. Oh, Jesus Christ. Woody's one. We're bouncing back. We're, frogs and bouncing. Anyway, they don't bounce. That's a really bad analogy. I was going to say red panda. And why? I'm not entirely sure.
Because it's red, we play in red. We could be like a blackout panda.
Because we're awake at night.
I got to be honest, Fifey. I thought you was going to ask Ben's question.
This is Ben's question.
Oh, right. Sorry. His first
He
question.
Sent an actual one in when I said...
How am I not surprised?
He sent an actual one in when I said I'm not reading the one that he sent originally.
Aww.
Because his original one, Kieran, is, are we on tonight?
Oh. Well, Mrs. is, but we're not. Anyway, joking. I said red panda because they're beautiful to look at and they're pretty goddamn cool. And that's how we're playing at the moment. So apart from last game, possibly.
I'm going to say if this season were an animal, it would be Craig's dog, because despite what happens, every now and then, it's a bit of a twat. And you'll only get it if you watch 2 episodes ago. The second question that we received it's slightly it's not really our normal way, because we generally try and be quite a positive pod, unless it was last season where there was nothing positive to talk about. Ned sends his apologies already for asking it, but he wants to know which of the players would you say is underperforming the most this season? As you asked, Ned, it's only fair you go first.
To start off with, I've got like 2 answers. So I've got, for the first maybe 10 games, I'd say Ben Gladwin. And now it's starting to be Ellis Iandolo, because he, for the last few weeks, I'm not sure what it is, whether it's fatigue or what, but he is just not the player he was a month ago. He isn't. I don't know what's going on.
Woody almost, if there was a reaction that could mimic a sarcastic applause, that's what you got from Woody. I'm not entirely sure he was impressed by that answer.
No, the opposite, actually. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was, because I was a massive fan of Gladwin when he came in, and we all know what he's capable of doing, and we haven't seen it really this season. But then I actually thought, I'm not going to go with Gladwin. I'm going to go with Iandolo, because the last couple of games, genuinely, and it pains me to say it, because he is almost a Swindon's, kind of a slave to Swindon type thing, but it felt like the only reason he's played is because he's left-footed.
Right.
That's genuinely how I felt with him out there at the moment. He's just not been his normal self. So yeah, I actually agree completely with Ned. For me, it's between Gladwin and Iandolo, possibly.
Rich?
It's a difficult one. I personally wouldn't have said. I get that Iandolo's not always had the best of games, but I do feel as if that is potentially down to tiredness. Left wing back is certainly not his natural position. And I feel as if that, I think the quicker we can get somebody in January to play that role, or to even just give Iandolo a bit of a rest. But I don't feel as if that he's underperforming. I think the moments when he is good, he's fucking quality. And he has had some really, really good spells this season as well. He's always getting into the final third. He's always trying to make that, trying to get that cross in. So in terms of underperforming, I wouldn't have said Iandolo, and I don't think I would have said Gladwin either. I think I would say probably maybe after the first game that we had against Scunthorpe, I think he definitely took a bit of a dip. He scored that cracking goal against Scunthorpe, and but
the thing is, Rich, I always very much enjoy your input into these debates, but so far you've spent about 17 minutes telling us who you wouldn't pick and not actually answering the question.
No, I get that, and I honestly don't know.
For those of you listening on audio, he's just given me a look to say I'm going to punch you in the face when I see you.
Actually, I'll tell you who, and do you know what? He hasn't actually played much this season, and I get it's for injury, but I think also coming on the back of last season as well, Jordan Lydon.
Okay. Interesting.
But obviously we haven't seen much of him this season yet anyway. So it'd be interesting to see. Okay. So
I think that's really hypocritical. You're saying that Iandolo can't be underperforming because he's a lack of fatigue. Lydon's been walking around with one leg most of the season, and he's now the most underperforming player. Oh, that's such a hypocritical statement.
No, but I did say carrying on from last season, to be fair.
What I love is Woody could not wait to take the opportunity to throw his mate under the bus, to say, no, you've said this, you've disagreed with me, and now you've made yourself look stupid. He does that on a
daily basis.
I was sat there going, he's going to say Critchlow. He's going to say Critchlow, and then I'm going to absolutely obliterate him. But then he went for Lydon, the poor old Aussie sick note. Poor guy.
Can't catch a break.
Kieran.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick Jordan Lydon because that'd be harsh. Fucking poor bloke. It's a bit like picking Border, and he's barely played, and he hasn't underperformed. That's just how good he is. So I think Gladwin. I think a lot of people would say he's underperformed, but I think he is generally quite a lazy player at times, because he's sometimes a bit of a luxury to have to carry him through games, but he has moments of brilliance for a season, and people forget how bad he is. And I think the last time we sort of saw him was when he came back last time. He wasn't that good either. So I think Gladwin's had a mixed season. He's not been at his best. He's then had some moments of brilliances, but he has looked quite lazy at points, more lazy than he normally does. But I think that's just his sort of game style. He has those moments of brilliance. One player I've been, I don't know if it's underperforming, but disappointed by, but then he's been unlucky with Harry fucking Jack Frost Potter's McCurdy's absence. But Alex Gilbert, I thought he's going to do a bit more, and he's been quite disappointing so far this season. So he's probably, again, not really had a run of games, but he has had enough chances to sort of try and get in that side. He was starting in that side at some points. So he's been a bit disappointing. But I think there's no one really that stands out, because I don't think anyone's done too badly this year, to be fair. But they had no pre-season. This is spicy.
Wow.
Maybe Tyree Simpson, because he hasn't scored some more goals.
I mean,
So hang on, just very
This is the
quickly,
most
Spikey.
controversial mailbag question ever.
So my thing is, what the hell were people expecting from Alex Gilbert?
Well, he's Irish, I suppose.
I'm genuinely asking, what were people expecting?
I'm going to honestly answer that.
Kane, Kesman, Hayden sort of S player, sort of be that sort of ready. I didn't really know a lot about him, but I was expecting him to be sort of that caliber from where he's come from. But
I think when you look at his first 2 games, he was immense. He was really good, and then he just
didn't kick on,
and then it didn't kick off. And the feedback I hear from
I'm not expecting
pretty much every single game he's played in, he's got man of the match. So I just don't get it. I don't know what people will expect. I'm assuming people are expecting.
You're just defending him because he's Irish, Rich.
No, I'm not defending him. But I'm.
If he was English, he'd be the shittest player in the world.
He is English. He was born in England. He is English. He's born in England. No. What I mean is that everybody seems to be criticising him, but I don't get where the criticism is. I don't.
Because he came with a reputation almost as good as Kessa Hayden's. That's why he came. But
like I said, he's got pretty much man of the match every game he's played in. So I don't get.
I don't recall him getting one man of the match, let alone. The player of the match was given to Jack Payne on Saturday. So that says all about player of the match.
Jordan Lydon's been injured for half a year, though.
Well, it's certainly riled Rich up. So whether you're watching or listening, please let us know in the various social media comments, what were you expecting from him? Because Rich isn't happy with the level of criticism he seems to be getting. And do we think that is just because he's an Irish under whatever international?
Are you his agent, Rich?
Was that?
I said, are you his agent?
No comment.
Gentlemen, as always, it has been an absolute pleasure spending the last hour or so in your company. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the football tomorrow, Woody and Rich. Enjoy Walsall, Rich and Ben, who's not here, but we know he's going. And I will see you all at the weekend for the pod Christmas party.
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be a whole different show.
Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. And we will see you next week.
Cheerio, neighbour Rooney.
Alex